Latrobe Speedway Studio. Welcome to Ride Along Podcast.
Well, hello and a very pleasant good evening, Latrobe Speedway fans. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway podcast. Great to see you all. Great to have all of you with us today. Have another cool show planned for all of you as the 2023 season winds down. Going to bring on a very special guest who has enjoyed a tremendous amount of success at Latrobe and through the region, actually, in 2023, but in recent years. And let's welcome our good friend, Mr. Anthony Monteparte. Anthony, what's happening in your part of the world down there in Westmoreland County tonight?
What's up, Mike? Just another night working on the car here, getting ready for Saturday. Tools down here. We're just about wrapped up for the night.
Well, that's good. Well, thanks. I know you're busy between your regular job and coming home and then your second job of working on that race car. So we appreciate it. I know myself and JD back in the studio certainly appreciate you taking the time. And I know Dennis and Kathy do as well. Listen, Anthony, what a season it's been. One of the prevailing topics that many of the guests have spoke of throughout 2023. And I quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about it, but you know what? It has affected everyone in one way, shape, or form. And that has been the weather. Certainly the rainouts haven't dampened, pardon the pun, your success here in 2023. But certainly it must have affected your program in one way or another, your racing program, and maybe some things you wanted to accomplish this year. Maybe let the fans know, how did the weather and the rainouts affect you and your racing program?
Really, honestly, the rain didn't bother me as bad this year, other than not getting a couple more races in with a chance to get more wins on the year. But honestly, to me anymore with the rain, we take it as a week off to relax. And, sometimes you need that during the season. Even the hardcore racers like ourselves, it doesn't hurt to have a week off here and there. I mean, yeah, we had more rain than usual this year, but we don't get too worked up about it because there's nothing you can do. So, yeah, we spent some more time relaxing this year and preparing the car more, had more time, a couple extra weeks to get the car ready. But in reality, just, there's nothing you can do about it.
No, and that's a valid point you make. There is nothing you can do about it. Now, we talked with some of the K2 Engineering crate late model drivers last week, Troy Shields and so on, about how the lack of racing or the lesser amount of races that a lot of our drivers have competed in, how does that affect when you guys evaluate the car, parts, what needs freshed in October and November during teardown? I mean, what do you anticipate? What do you and your dad and the team anticipate, when you into all that part of the off-season stuff here in October and November?
We'll still treat it, the same as any other year. I mean, we still have, 9 races, granted with this week happening and then Fall Fest, if we get that in, that's still 11 races. We'll still treat it like any other year, and the car will be stripped down completely and, literally everything off the car, inspect pretty much every part on this car and to get it back together for the next year. Always put a new body on the car and, you always tear the motor down just to make sure, nothing's wrong there. John Gilmore's taught me that. Even with an 11 race season, we'll still look at that also to make sure everything will be fresh for the next year.
Okay, and that makes sense, and that's kind of the answer Troy gave us. He said that the engine's still got to be pulled. We got to refresh the motor, and he might have didn't anticipate having he anticipated having more laps on the car and on the engine. Hey, you talked about John Gilbert teaching you some things. You grew up watching Joe Kelly, and I mean he is a true legend in his own right. Talk about the things. What has Joe Kelly meant to Anthony Monteparte, not only as a human being, as a good person, but also what has he taught you what lessons has he taught you that you still today utilize on the racetrack? Because I got to tell you, whatever he taught you, it's working.
Yeah, growing up around Joe and going to the races with Joe, I don't want to say he's taught me everything, but in reality, that's probably part of the case. I mean, from a little kid, I got to see what it took to be successful, and that's honestly just hard work and busting your butt, working on your car, and how to carry yourself whenever you do have success. I think that's one of the biggest things and from Joe that he has taught me. This is a sport where you can dominate, and before you know it, you're towards the back of the pack. So I think that's the biggest thing from Joe that he's taught me is how to win and how to be respectful, but also have fun with it as well. But like I said, from working on the cars, him and my dad, I've pretty much learned everything about racing through those two.
No, and that makes sense, because I think you probably missed something, a very valuable lesson that he's taught you that you didn't mention, and that is humility, and that is to be humble. And whether, for as fast as you're clicking off victories, things can go in a clink before you know it. And it's winning with grace and losing with grace. And I think you exhibit all them traits, not only as a race car, Anthony, but as a human being. You're a class act in all that you do, how you carry yourself, how you represent yourself, your family, our Latrobe Speedway. And that means a lot to us. And I know it means a lot to Dennis Cathy. It means a lot to our fans as well. Speaking of your success, you've accomplished just about everything. I mean, this has been a dream season for you, I would say. I'd like to think that's how you kind of classify it. But where do we go from here? I mean, certainly you've proven just about everything you need to proven at this level. Unfortunately, we know that a lot of levels are dictated by finances and financial resources. I mean, you're still a young man yet. Where does this all lead, my friend?
Well, first and foremost, I have to thank the people that are behind me right now and the sponsors that I have, because they've allowed me to get, to put together one car here that, I have a lot of financial support through them right now to even get me to where I am today. And I look forward. I don't know where racing's going to take me. And honestly, I'm proud and happy with where I'm at right now. And honestly, the pure stock division is getting very competitive. I mean, we do have some really good drivers in that class and guys that are comfortable in their cars now that have raced a few years. And I'm proud of the success, racing against the guys that I do now. Yeah, of course, I'd love to move up, into a late model, or we joke around about a big block modified here and there. But, financially, we're at the top of our means, and that's nothing I'm disappointed or, going to hang my head about. I'm happy with where we are. Maybe an opportunity will come up someday, but if not, I'm thankful for what I've done in racing. I never thought I would get this far. So, looking back, if the pure stocks is my, my life division, then it is what it is. I'm happy with what we've accomplished.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking there's probably a whole lot more that you're going to accomplish. And speaking of the people behind you, when you talk about your sponsors, I'm going to guess that they're very proud to be on the side of your race car. You're very well spoken. You represent yourself well. And certainly the success that you've enjoyed, you've made. It's just not Anthony Monteparte down there on Victory Lane. It's a whole bunch of people joining you. It's a team. It's a family, including all of your fans. I'm going to put you on the spot here, if you don't mind. When we talk about finances and so on, you talk about your colleagues, and the pure stock class has been fantastic for Dennis and Cathy this year. And that's why you have your classification at Joe's Body Shop and Towing Pure Stocks has been highlighted so many times. If you were to sit down with Dennis and Cathy today and say, you know what, I don't want to race with 10 cars or 12 cars. I want 18. I want 20 cars out here. Here's what we need to do to kind of regulate the costs so we can have a good field of cars on the big half mile every Saturday night. And I know you said you talk with your team about different divisions and classifications, but I mean, how can we, in your mind, keep the cost down in a pure stock so we can, keep a very healthy car count?
My honest opinion, I think the division and the roles are at a really good spot. I think a prime example of how we get cars to the track in this class, take the Charlie Field race, for example. I think, honestly, we need to start spreading our purses out a little bit on these bigger races. Even coming from me, my dad, we've talked about this even at meetings. I think we need to spread the purses out more for everybody to get a chunk of the change. Like I said, the Charlie Field race, I think we had 26 cars, and all that money was spread out through the field. And, that brings more guys in. And I think that's the way we get more cars to the track, honestly. I mean, yes, we have a regular purse every week, and I think it's fine where it's at. I just think with all these specials we've had, I think there's a number there that, we should be racing for to win. And I think more guys should be reaping the benefits of all these awesome sponsors that have put up the money for these races. And I think we just need to share the cash a little bit.
Anthony, that is so very well said. I've been saying that for a long, long time. Top heavy purses don't bring cars. I just don't see it that way, especially in the way racing is right now. And it's what you just described exactly what I had done last year with the Jeffrey Vassis Memorial with the modified 4 cylinders, where we had 26 cars, 25 drivers all received envelopes of $160. 26th place receive an envelope of $80. That was in addition to what Dennis and Kathy's regular purse was. And I know we tried to do that. I know, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the Charlie Field race is so near and dear to my friends out in Central City, and especially this year, the way it was handled, the way we handled the finances, the way you conducted yourself, the way the drivers from everywhere came. So very well said. I echo your thoughts. I echo your sentiments. Listen, as we wind things down, I don't want to keep you too long away from your family on this midweek evening. You talk about your sponsors, you talk about your family, you talk about your friends. I follow you on Facebook. I know you have a huge following, but this would be a great time here on the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Speed Shop podcast to go ahead and give all those shout outs again to your fine sponsors, your family, girlfriends, whatever, fans that mean a lot to you, sponsors.
Don't say that. No girlfriends, just my wife. Well, first I'll thank her so I don't get in too much trouble. My wife, Danielle.
Maybe on that note,
anyways, my wife, Danielle.
I'll tell you what, maybe on that note, I'll shut up and
sponsors, Gilmore Engineering. That's John Gilmore. He's been like a grandfather to me all these years. A1 Machine Shop. That's Joe Zioli and Chad. GVD Powder Coating. RepairX. Final Destination. Bob Thomas Pest Control. K2 Engineering. Supercar Workshop and Supercar Restoration. Maniac Race Chassis, and McAdams Roofing and Remodeling. That's Sam and Molly. Who else am I forgetting here? Elias Tire and American Racer. And I think I said Vinyl Destination. And I think I got them all there. Let me just take a look. I think I said RepairX. Like I said, I got a huge following and a great backbone of sponsors that, keep me competitive and allow me to race at this level. And that's it. And then again, I'd like to just
I'm glad you didn't forget. I'm glad you didn't forget.
and my dad, and anybody that's helped me out throughout the years to get to where I'm at. Like I said, I've far surpassed where I thought I'd get in racing. So thanks to all of them.
Very good. And thanks for remembering good golly Nurse Molly, and getting her shout out in, her and Big Sam and Maniac Chassis, two great people. And it's cool that they're involved with your racing program. Anthony, as I mentioned earlier, you are a class act in all that you do and all that you represent yourself in. Proud to have you representing Latrobe Speedway. And I know I'm speaking on behalf of Dennis and Kathy and the whole Latrobe Speedway team. We shall see you this Saturday. It's Jeffrey Vassis Memorial Night this coming Saturday, September 16th. We're going to be telling our fans a little bit about that shortly. But in the meantime, we're going to let Anthony go and get back to business with his lovely wife. No girlfriends.
That's right. Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you Saturday.
Take care, Anthony. God love you. God bless.
Take care.
Hey, race fans. Welcome back to the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway podcast. Certainly a wonderful opportunity talking with our good friend Anthony Monteparte and him joining us here in the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Speed Shop. Anthony, thank you very much for taking the time. We will see Anthony this Saturday back at the Big Half Mile, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for the Jeffrey Vassis Memorial Night, the highlighted division. This coming Saturday, September 16th, will be the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Pure Stocks. And you know what, folks? If you'd still like to be a part of that feature event, any businesses, individuals, families that would like to be a part, be a lap sponsor, a finishing position sponsor, we still have some openings available. You can contact Dennis and Kathy either by phone or via Messenger on Facebook. I promise you they will get back to you quickly, expeditiously, so we can get that all squared away and get that money all lined up. The contingency monies that's been collected thus far. Thank you to the many businesses and race teams and sponsors and individuals who have already donated for the Jeffrey Vassis Memorial for this for the special T Metals modified 4 cylinders. That's coming up this Saturday, the second annual Jeffrey Vassis Memorial. The Joe's Body Shop and Towing Pure Stocks will be in action. As you just heard Anthony Monteparte, he's getting things all ready to be back at the Big Half Mile, the most coveted piece of real estate here in Westmoreland County. The K2 Engineering Crate Late models will be in action, and it will be the final points night for the Dean Pollock Hobby Stocks. Thank you to Dean Pollock for being a part of our team, and also the Bowers Farms Race Saver Sprint Cars final points night. So at the conclusion of Saturday night's race night, we're going to have all of our divisional point champions, and we're going to know who's all going to be sitting at the head of the table at our Latrobe Speedway Awards Banquet and Ceremonies. And then last but not least, this coming Saturday night, you're going to feel the thunder. The big block modifieds will invade Latrobe Speedway. They're going to invade Route 30, come rolling down 30, making that turn at the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport, head on down to the most coveted piece of real estate here in Westmoreland County, the big block modifieds. Nothing better than seeing those things wheel around our big half-mile oval. That's coming up this Saturday, September 16th. I hope you got all that. Pit gates open at 4, grandstand gates at 5. We'll have racing at 7 o'clock here on our second annual Jeffrey Vassis Memorial Night at Latrobe Speedway. Our featured division will be the Specialty Metals modified 4 cylinders. You know, folks, as always, you know the drill. If you're in need of any of the products or services offered by any of our fine sponsors, please remember to support them. They love what we love, and that's racing at our beloved Latrobe Speedway. So please keep these fine businesses in mind when you are in need. Ament Landscape Supply here in Latrobe, GVD Powder Coating, our friends at DJS Swag, Latrobe Billiards, Tite Paving. We want to thank our friends at A1 Machine and Performance, and Rick Potter, RPM Racing Parts and Sales, who are in our pits each and every Saturday night. Thank you to Latrobe Glass and Mirror, General Carbide, Bowman's Plumbing, Garry's Auto Sales, Porta-John, the Auto Tag Store, and Tidal Wave Car Wash here in town. How about our divisional sponsors, folks? Let's thank them as well. K2 Engineering for sponsoring our crate late models. Wisneski Waste Removal for sponsoring our Pro Stocks this year. Joe's Body Shop and Towing, of course, sponsoring our Pure Stocks and our weekly podcast here at the track. Dean Pollock Hobby Stocks. Thank you, Dean. The Specialty Metals Modified 4 Cylinders. We want to thank them. And also Marilungo Disposal for sponsoring our Strictly Stock 4-cylinder class. So that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of the Joe's Body Shop and Towing Latrobe Speedway podcast. Just a quick reminder, just like our friend Billy up on the flag stand from Bikers Helping Others, do a good deed for someone because you'll get it in return 3 times over. Billy and the gang want to say hello. I'm not going to see you guys this Saturday night, but I wish everyone a lot of fun and a great night of racing. My buddy Dave Lape, DJ Johnson, and the whole team. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on the Joe's Body Shop and Towing podcast. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the races, and we will talk to you next week here on the Joe's Body Shop and Towing, Latrobe Speedway, Speed Shop, and podcast. So long, everybody. God bless.